Hi everybody, welcome to our MedTech Unplugged series. My name is Dave Vellante. You're watching theCUBE and NYSE Wired's ongoing series. This is our media week on MedTech. We're talking about the aging populations, the intersection of that, plus AI-fueled innovation, value-based outcomes. This is, hot and heavy in this community, and of course the consumerization and personalization of healthcare. Really excited to have Eric Litman here. He's the founder and CEO and founder and CEO of Aescape with an A. A great edge use case here, Eric. Thanks so much for coming on theCUBE and being here at NYSE Wired.
Thanks for having me. This is a great environment.
You bet. So founder, sole founder?
Yes.
That's cool. A lot of times.
Has its ups and downs.
I know myself, I was a co-founder, but you have that superpower, I guess you got both sides of the brain. But why did you start Aescape?
It was literally a personal pain point for me. So I've been building tech companies since the early 90s, sold my last company to a large publicly traded business back in 2015, spent a couple of years integrating the business living on an airplane, and I ended up with a bulging disc in my neck that just took me out of commission. I spent 8 months of my life where I needed a massage every single day just to be able to turn my head as I solved my way through a medical issue. And my frustration was that I wanted something very, very specific, and most massage therapists wanted to give me the protocol that they thought would be most helpful. Wasn't what was helpful for me. What was helpful was an elbow in one spot of my back for an hour every day. So it was just out of frustration that I said one day, maybe I should just automate this. Maybe there's a solution that doesn't just exist for me, maybe there are other people like me out there. And when I started looking at the category, massage therapy in the US is about a $20 billion a year segment that wanted to be about 4 billion larger, but there's a substantial labor gap out there. People just aren't going through the process to become massage therapists anymore at the rate at which they once were. And the people who regularly get massage are typically in it to go fix something with their bodies. So the idea was, build out a solution that's personalizable, build out something that I could get what I wanted out of, and hopefully the rest of the market would come along.
Now, what year was this that you sort of had this idea?
This was 2017 when I started.
Okay, so just a couple years after you exited.
Yes.
And sort of well before the AI heard around the world.
Correct.
Okay, so but you were using sort of machine intelligence at the time, obviously, and it was what, deterministic AI? Maybe you could describe sort of what the state of technology was then, and I'm really interested in how far you've taken it.
Yeah, look, we've seen tremendous progression in the technologies that enable robotics, that enable understanding of human bodies through sensing, through other systems in the last 7 and 8 years. So where we started is nowhere close to either where we or the market are today. Largely deterministic to begin with, now moving increasingly into model-based approaches to understand, to comprehend, and to deliver. It's been a great technology journey. And candidly, we've been buoyed by the rising tide that's lifted all the companies in the sector.
This is amazing. So Aescape is A-E-S-C-A-P-E. Search it and you'll see this device that you've created. What do you call this system?
We call it our table, the Aescape table.
The Aescape table, okay,
Yeah.
Cool. And this is a great example of AI-driven personalization, the consumerization of healthcare. How do you, talk about the data aspect of this. What kind of biomechanical data, biometric data are you collecting, and how is that used in essentially in real time?
So we have a host of sensors that help us to understand very specifically the person that's on the table getting a massage at any point in time. We have sensors overhead that scan, model, and create a computational model of the body, and then the arms themselves are able to feel the body as we move along. We know when you breathe, we know when you move. We've been able to do real-time tissue stiffness discrimination and really start to gain a picture of the musculoskeletal data that's most relevant to you as a consumer of this. But there's another element that we came across along the way, and that is that with all of the technology we have at our disposal, and we are increasingly adding greater sensor density, sensor fidelity, more ability to acquire data, having the human in the loop was the key unlock here. Empowering you to say, I want this, not that. I want more of this thing, I want more in this direction. Ultimately, it allows you to build the treatment, or I should say the massage, that is specifically the thing that your body wants at that point in time.
So you're able to interpret context in real time with that human in the loop. So using generative AI, I speak to the platform? How does that work? Or is it, like you said, sensing my breathing, my moving, my tensing, all of that?
Yeah, so today you use an interface where as you're laying on the table, there's a big touch screen in front of you that shows off a 3D model of your body in real time and where the massage is working on you at any given point in time. So you're very well informed about what's happening to you and what will be happening, and you're given a set of controls to change that. Over time, we'll continue to evolve that. We'll make it much richer, much more interactive, and the sorts of things you're saying are very near and dear to our heart.
And you've got, what, dozens of sensors, you've got semiconductors throughout this,
Correct.
this thing? And
Correct.
so I presume it's not the latest, greatest, most expensive GPUs. They don't have to be, right? I mean, they can be, you know, I don't know, N-1, N-2 sort of semiconductor type stuff you'd find in automobiles, very sophisticated, but low cost, low power, able to respond in real time. Maybe you could talk a little bit about your architecture.
Yeah, we have what feels like a very modern edge robotics compute platform. We have a series of compute capabilities that allow us to run our perception, our control, our motion planning, all the user interface, and we take advantage of technologies that others in the market do as well. And much of what happens to drive that happens in the cloud, where we do have access to greater storage, greater compute, and we'll continue to leverage that architecture over time.
Okay, so you have to balance the real-time latency with the sort of modeling in the cloud. How do you do that? Actually, I can kind of generally understand how you do that. I'm more interested in how that's changing over time as the on-prem device gets more powerful. And you don't have to go to the cloud. How are you, and you're balancing that with cost and performance?
Yeah, I think the majority of compute that will happen in the space of robotics will be model development, and that's all in advance of deploying anything to the edge. To your point, as edge compute becomes more capable, as models get better optimized for deployment, and you're dealing much more with inference and test time compute, the compute capabilities there can be particularly tight for the application, and ideally, you can increasingly do more and more without having to go back to the cloud. Right now, it's a tightly coupled architecture.
What have you learned in terms of just clinical efficacy, whether it's pain reduction, motion gains? I mean, in your particular case, you have a great use case.
Yeah.
What are you seeing there, and how is that evolving?
So we've very intentionally brought this to market as a general wellness device, and so we think of it in context of that. General wellness devices for massage allow people to think about their stress, to think about general pain, aches, athletic recovery, and so our members, the people that get massages from us, all speak about us in those terms. And we hear great success stories of people who come in and they either improve their athletic recovery and athletic performance, or they are able to manage their bodies and the chronic issues that we all have as we get older in a way that's more challenging without us.
We had a AI and robotics leadership summit out in Palo Alto, I don't know, but just about a month ago with the NYSE Wired. And we had sort of two diverging sort of thoughts on this. One was, hey, we're going to have these general purpose robots. They'll cook for you, they'll mow your lawn, they'll cut your hair, they'll do your laundry, versus we're going to have these specialized robots. And which is clearly, the example of what you guys are in. Lower cost, more specialized, but more narrowly focused. So I'm fascinated in the business model here. What does the cost look like of actually producing these things? I think I'm correct in that I go somewhere to make this happen.
Yes.
As a facility.
Right.
So explain that, and I've got some follow-ups.
Okay, so look, on the first point, I think it's a really interesting discussion of whether or not we'll go generalizable and specialized. I think the answer is it will be both. There is a reason that forklifts don't look like people. We build specialized hardware for special applications because physics drives a lot of the decision making behind that. And I think in categories like ours, you're going to continue to see very mission specific robots that will outperform a generalized platform. Having an arm hooked to the base of a table provides a kinematic structure that can outperform what a humanoid structure can do, because we can work on both sides of the body simultaneously. So that's that track. Going back to cost, we're relatively new in market. We've been in market now for about 11 months, and we've been aggressively working on bringing the cost to manufacture our robots down. It's a key initiative for the business, and we are very successfully driving costs out of our robots, which then empowers us to deliver them at a lower price point to our partners, and then ultimately continue to democratize access to the solution for consumers. Luxury was the entry point for us because it just makes sense when there's scarcity involved, but really the goal here is to bring this sort of great personal care to as many people as humanly possible. So we're going to continue to make it mission number one for us to drive out the cost of this so that this can be accessible everywhere, and then a regular part of your fitness regimen, self-care protocol, rather than something you just do ad hoc or when you really need it.
So a couple of follow-ups, if I may, Eric. So the Aescape platform, you've purpose-built it for the use case. It's probably much better than an elbow, right? I mean, we use the elbow out of necessity.
I'm biased, but I think it's a hell of a lot better than
We use
elbow.
it out of necessity, not because it's like anatomically perfect for massage therapy. Okay, and then the business model for your partners, your distribution channel,
Yeah.
Is it part of a health club? Is it a subscription model? What are the patterns you're seeing there? And is it all consistent?
We have partners that are exploring a number of ways to bring it to market. So we license the product out to businesses that want to deploy these. And we do that in hospitality. For us, hospitality is hotels, it's gyms, corporate offices, multifamily dwellings. We think about the athletics category, so pro sports teams, collegiate leagues, venues. We are in the healthcare category increasingly, so bringing these into chiropractics, physical therapy for massage purposes in those environments. And within them, they all operate a little bit differently. They think about their consumer a little bit differently. Some of them charge on a per unit basis. They'll charge for a straight up massage. Others are now beginning to roll out subscriptions where, because the marginal cost to deliver a massage on our table is so very low, utilization becomes the key factor. They just want to drive more people through and even perhaps extend operating hours and be able to see more people throughout the day. And others still are baking it right into their membership model.
Airports, malls, you see these, whether it's chairs, foot massage chairs, you see, physical humans in airports. Now, is that
potentially in lounge environments? I don't know how well massage does as a category in airports or in malls.
I have no idea. I've never done it.
I don't think it does particularly well.
So it's just.
I think for us, it's really more about having the tables in places where it just makes sense, where it's going to fit into your workflow, where a 30-minute massage is something you can easily accomplish, particularly given that with our massages, you're not showering, you're not oily, you get to go in, get it done, get out very quickly. It's a very efficient play.
How do folks get paid? Is there if in the medical world, obviously payers will pay for health outcomes if you can show that. Is there an angle there for your partners?
I think that's early for us. I think we will start to explore some of that in the coming months and years, but today it's self-pay, it's a general wellness device, and consumers are opting in because they're making their own value judgments about what it does for their bodies. And for many people, the modality of physical engagement and soft tissue manipulation is something that just improves the quality of their lives.
And it does, and it improves your health care, but it doesn't seem that the system is open-minded about that. But maybe that'll evolve to a point where if you can demonstrate better health and lower cost as a result of that better health, certainly in your case, right? It is, is proof. Perhaps it can fit into the payer system at some point.
And where I think it could potentially fit in is in a world that's increasingly moving towards capitated payments. We, at some point in time, demonstrate efficacy to the physicians involved in the ecosystem that this can drive a favorable outcome for them at a better set of economics than what they're doing today, and they opt into using this as that part of the protocol.
And the physicians have some weight there as a voice. What about the regulatory climate, FDA approvals, things of that nature? How are therapeutic robots sort of fitting into that scheme?
So we don't think of these as therapeutic, we think of them as general wellness devices, and we work hard to stay within those boundaries. We're not making any specific claims about what this can do outside of what a general wellness device would do.
So in other words, regulatory frameworks are not a blocker for you, is that right? Because of the positioning of the company and the product, is that right?
We've had to go through a number of certification processes, so we've gone through UL, we've built the product to be tested and safe and to fit within the bounds of a general wellness device.
How reliable are these systems, Eric? How do you deal with preventive maintenance?
Yeah.
Is it, hopefully not doing truck rolls, phone home. How does that all work?
Yeah, so the devices are connected devices, so we manage them, we fleet manage them within our team. We've built a number of tools for the automated maintenance of them, and we're increasingly automating that. And then we have a nationwide network of technicians that are capable of going out and removing a component if something has an issue. The good news is, robots in general tend to be very well characterized pieces of hardware. You have a pretty good idea of when they're going to fail over time. Most of the other components are reasonably solid state. There's not a lot to break in this, and they perform well.
And on the regulatory framework, is it the same with data privacy, that you're not subject to sort of HIPAA and things of that nature, so you kind of avoid that whole blocker? I'll go back to cost. Do you have situations where individuals actually will purchase these things? What does one cost?
It's not a primary market for us, but we do have some folks that have been.
Is it tens of thousands? Is it hundreds of thousands of dollars?
It's closer to the latter. Yeah, it's $150,000 to license one of these into the home.
Okay, so you've got to have a business model to offset that cost, but the cost will come down as your manufacturing volume increases, right?
Well, and if you're a business, if you're not bringing it into the home, it's a monthly licensing fee on an extended contract. So it's in the neighborhood of $4,000 to $5,000 a month.
How did you fund the company? Do you feel like you have product market fit? And at what point do you scale, go to market?
Yeah, so we've raised about $130 million along the way from some top tier investors, including Valor Equity Partners. They're the earliest investors in all of Elon Musk's companies. They're big in the space of deep tech and hard tech. They've been a great partner for us. And we're continuing to scale. We absolutely have product market fit. The product delights consumers every day. We have partners that are making money repeatedly off of this. And we're now going to market to go raise our Series B in the next couple of weeks.
Are you predominantly North America? Are you overseas? Or?
We're US only at the moment. We'll begin international expansion next year.
So where can I go to actually experience this? Because when I was searching and prepping for this, it was like, I want in.
All right, great, let's get you in. We're all over the city here in New York. We have about 100 locations across the country, so if you go to aescape.com, aescape.com, you can go to the booking system, find a location. The great news is we're in some really, really nice partners that offer a series of amenities associated with this that don't require a membership. So if you go to an Equinox and book at an Equinox or a Lifetime Fitness or a Ritz-Carlton or a Four Seasons, you get to take advantage of all the other lovely things they have around them without being a member. It's a great way to go experience the product and have a treat yourself moment together with it.
So it's a $20 billion TAM, but it's constrained by human labor, and so the TAM could be enormous here. I mean, the need is. It can be, these devices could be everywhere.
Yeah.
They can be hotels, they could be in, look at apartments around New York City and they've got gyms. Why not put one of these devices there? When there's demand, put more of these devices. That TAM could double or triple, who knows?
So you've nailed it in that we can grow the market by bringing in more capacity, but here's the really interesting point. Only about 1 in 5 American consumers are willing to get a massage from another person. They're uncomfortable with something about their body, they're uncomfortable with strangers, they don't want to be new to the stranger. You ladder up all those issues and it adds up to about another 80% of the market. And we've been hearing consistently from consumers that they're open to regular self-care and body work from an automated solution. Turns out about half the people now, about 50% of the consumers that regularly use Aescape are not endemic to the category. These are new people that have integrated this into their lives, so I agree. I think there's tremendous upside potential.
This is true. I've talked to women who say, I don't want to get a massage from a man. I've talked to men who say, I don't want to get a massage from a man, whatever. But so
some people don't even want to have to be asked that question, so they avoid it altogether.
Eliminates it. Well, of course, when you're getting a massage, you're like, I wonder who I'm going to get, what do they look like? Are they tall? Are they small? Are they, this or that?
Yeah.
This eliminates that, and it sounds like it's more effective. Yeah. So, all right, where do you want to take this company? We talked a little bit about that, but what's the big vision?
This is just the beginning. So what we've done is we've solved the really hard set of problems needed to have robots safely and autonomously interact with human bodies. It's an incredibly hard set of problems. We are executing very well right now on delivering massage therapy into the market, on building the consumer awareness around this, on really learning how to optimize the model of getting people comfortable with this, getting businesses to deliver it and adopt it, to market it, to build the market around it. Next for us is then leveraging all of that, the data behind it, the consumer insights, the human-robot interaction models into other categories where robots can safely interact with human bodies. Massage is just the start.
Oh, this is an exciting time. We hear Jensen talk about it all the time. Humanoid robots and special purpose robots. So super excited, Eric, for this future. So thanks so much for coming on theCUBE and
Thanks for having me
being
in.
part of NYSE Wired. You're welcome. All right, and keep it right there. This is our MedTech series. This is Dave Vellante for John Furrier, the entire CUBE and NYSE Wired team. Keep it right there. We'll be right back right after this short break.